Good evening. First tonight, concerns that new housing developments in our region are being built on unsuitable land. Over the last few weeks, we've featured several building projects where flooding has been an issue, including one planned for Ickford in Buckinghamshire. At Prime Minister's Questions today, the Buckingham MP called on the government to strengthen the flood risk assessment process for planning applications.
A case in Ickford where developers promised that flood risk would be a once-in-a-100-year eventuality, yet the village has flooded 3 times this year alone. With that in mind, will my right honourable friend commit to seriously beefing up the way flood risk is assessed and treated as part of the planning process?
Prime Minister.
Well, I have deep sympathy, Mr. Speaker, for his constituency in Ickford and the flooding they've suffered. I know Ickford. What I can say is it's very important that local authorities do follow the rules in making their planning decisions.
Well, after seeing our reports, residents in a village in Aylesbury Vale got in touch to say they're living with the consequences of building in a flood risk zone. Angela Walker reports.
This is the Western Grove estate, and this drainage ditch here was built after construction started and residents over the back complained about excessive flooding as a result. Peter says the drainage isn't working. This is his garden a few weeks ago. He got in touch after seeing our recent reports about flooding concerns at other housing developments.
People in these villages need to speak very clearly to the authorities and to the developer to make sure the flood risk report which is produced covers every aspect of the issues which will arise from a new development.
People living on the Western Grove estate itself are also reporting problems.
The gully here beside ours, every time there's any torrential rain, starts flooding and takes God knows how long to disappear again. And we're also concerned that, like in our back garden, the slabs, even on a dry day sometimes, can look damp. So there's obviously water underneath, so obviously the water's not draining away properly.
In a statement, the developer says the development's drainage has been constructed in accordance with details approved by the relevant authorities and was based on a flood risk assessment. We have been contacted by a small number of residents and we are in further communication with one of them over their concerns. We contacted Buckinghamshire Council about the Western Grove estate, but they've not responded. One planning law expert says it's down to local authorities to check drainage plans.
They should have the expertise, the drainage expertise, to judge whether what the developer is provided is appropriate and adequate. Now, there should be that expertise there. Increasingly, as the budgets of local authorities have been cut quite dramatically over the last 10 years, there often isn't that expertise within the local authorities.
The government wants to relax planning laws to meet its target of 300,000 new homes every year.
We will build better and build greener, but we will also build faster.
But it's under fire for disproportionately affecting rural areas. Now it's reconsidering its strategy. In the meantime, the drive for more homes continues in Buckinghamshire and there's no local plan in place to guide decision making.
What the absence of a local plan would do, however, is create opportunities for a developer to try and obtain planning permission that ordinarily the council would be able to refuse quite strongly.
As for residents affected by flooding in Western Turville, they're still trying to find out who's ultimately responsible. Angela Walker, BBC South Today.